Hello, everyone, friends, family, followers. Welcome to a very special day before Valentine's stream. Day before Valentine's? Day before Valentine's Day stream. I am so happy to be here today with y'all. Oh, what did I just do? This is the very first art stream that I have done in several years at this point, and it feels so nice to be back online, sharing my process with you guys, and getting to share, the art making techniques and little tips that I've developed and learned along the way, and also just to be back into the art making process and setup and everything. It feels so much more aligned with my purpose, and this is how I know I'm in a good place. If it's time to be making art and it feels like a good time to be making art, I know I'm doing something right. So today is a little bit of a testing day. We're going to test this new setup here. I've got this lovely little drawing board ready to go. I've got some scrap paper for sketching and this nice little ring light here to light the page. I did want to start by sharing some pieces from my portfolio first so that if you were a new viewer, you could kind of get a sense of my style and everything. But I forgot to grab it, so if you excuse me for just 2 seconds, I'm going to go grab my portfolio and I'll be back in just a flash so I can share some of my pieces with you guys. So just give me 1 second. Okay, also got some peach green tea to keep me nice and toasty. So let's start with this smaller book that I have here. Now, if you're new here, hi, hello. My name is Cindy Beans. You can call me Beans. And I have been making art and playing video games for as long as I can remember now. I've always had my own personal computer. Thank you to my dad for being an IT guy and just being at the forefront of at home computing. And thank you to my older brother for inspiring my art making journey and putting me on to a lifelong pursuit of perfecting my technique. He was really my biggest inspiration growing up, and I remember going to him when I was younger and paying him all the money I had in my piggy bank to just give me art lessons and to teach me how to draw. And ever since then, I've been making art as frequently as I could. I walked around high school always with a sketchbook in my hand and was that weird girl that would draw all the time at lunch tables and whatnot. So I just want to give you guys a feel for my pieces and also kind of test out the camera here. So let's see if we've got a good angle or anything. It is a little awkward drawing with something so large in your face, and so I just want to make sure that I have it at like a good height and a good angle and that the lighting is consistent and smooth. Sorry if you guys are getting kind of like a Blair Witch Project effect here with all the motion. Bear with me for just a moment. This is a test, but it feels like we're on the right path here. So this is a self-portrait that I did. Oh my gosh, I wish I had a date on this or a signature or anything. Let's say maybe 2018, no, 2020, maybe earlier than that, maybe 2018. So it's been quite a minute since I've done really any sort of art making, and that's a little embarrassing to admit, but sometimes you fall off, sometimes you lose your trajectory or your purpose behind making art, and I think that happens to the best of us. It definitely happened to me for a little bit. I'm hoping it's going to focus here. If not, I might have to close this app for just a second. It was having kind of a hard time focusing earlier. Let's see, maybe get a little shot of the ceiling. Again, a lot of this is kind of a test for me. I want to see if this new setup is doing what it's supposed to. Let me see, maybe if we try closing the app all the way. Not even. Yeah, it was having a really hard time focusing earlier, you guys. That is so disappointing. Let's see maybe if we can manual focus. I feel like that wasn't really doing anything for me either, so that is a little bit of a bummer. I might need to bring it back in some. Let's see. Autofocus. Oh, is it gonna do it now? Let's see. That's the white balance. Where was the angle? Angle, angle, angle. Zoom? Anything? Hmm. Let's see. I don't want it to be fuzzy for you guys. What was that? That's the stop. That's the focus. That's the white balance. I know it was giving me an option for camera. There we go. Let's see. Ultra wide, I think, worked a little bit better. There we go. Of course, the quality isn't that great, but we'll learn as we go. At least it's in focus. So here's a self-portrait that I did a while ago. Self-portraits are always going to reflect how the artist views themselves. So if this doesn't look like me, don't tell me. You'll break my heart, okay? I know it's a little bit harder to see in the plastic protector sheet and everything, but this was a self-portrait that I had done. I like to keep it at the front of my portfolio so that when people open it, they can, oh my gosh, it's snowing outside. Wow. That's so magical. I'm so glad I'm warm and in here with my tea because that is beautiful, but I'm glad that I'm not outside in it. We have this cute little drawing of a Doberman. So this one was in 2018. I've got a date here. I never really quite figured out my signature around this time. I still don't really know if I have all the way. But it's one of those things that you develop with time, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm even now still kind of developing my identity and my artist persona and all that stuff. As you may or may not know, if you had followed me before, you know that I changed my username and everything like that to feel more like me, so maybe my signature will change as well. Here we have a Jaguar, and he is a accompaniment piece for a tiger drawing that I have as well. I really kind of found my niche here with birds, and maybe I should take these out of the portfolio so that you guys can see them without the sheen, or maybe even just like a little bit more close up. Let's see. I think the ring light is really affecting these. Maybe I turn it off for just a second so that we don't get like any of the glare. That helps, right? Okay, so I have a technique that I use with colored pencils where I really layer them up nice and thick, and it kind of creates this maybe we zoom in just a little bit more and hopefully that's not too, it looks bad on my phone, but on the computer here it doesn't look too bad. The layering of colored pencils creates like a really nice texture that I enjoy. This is maybe like what a single layer of colored pencil would look like, is like right here where it's really rough and you can see kind of through it. But if you keep layering them, you'll get almost this oil painting like quality that allows you to give the piece a little bit more depth and a little bit more saturation of color, a little bit more blending ability. And I just found that it worked really well with feathers. So here are two pieces that I like to display side by side, a scarlet macaw and I believe this is a blue and gold macaw. Let me see. Oh, this is a piece that I really like how it turned out. This is Dolores from Westworld, one of my favorite shows ever. If you've seen it and you're a fan, definitely let me know because now that it is off of HBO, I am having withdrawals. It was time for me to start watching it again. I really wanted to circle back and it just wasn't available, and it is one of those better kept secrets. So if you haven't seen it or if you start watching it, let me know. And if you are a fan, let me know that also. I don't have any particular reason for keeping it next to this Calico Sphinx. This piece is what I mean. I mean, they're not supposed to juxtapose or anything like that, but it is kind of silly when you think of them as a group piece. This is another two pieces, or these are another two pieces that live side by side, a albino rabbit and an albino raven. And I like to keep them side by side because it is the same colored pencils that I use for both, but the techniques of using them allowed me to create different textures. So this beak here looks really smooth, whereas inside the ear here, you kind of get that see-through flesh quality with the veins and everything. While the fur here looks like really nice and soft, then I like the way that these feathers turned out. Oh, this is a bigger portrait. This is Graveyard Girl, one of my favorite YouTubers of all time. I did a little tribute piece to her. You can see she has one of her classic staple safety pin earrings in here, and also her nice big cinnamon bun victory rolls. And I put this piece on Tumblr and she actually reblogged it or liked it or something. I can't remember, but that made me so happy, especially considering that I was such a small streamer at the time. Let's see. I was just checking to see if anybody had hopped into the chat yet so that I didn't miss any comments. I did get a new monitor, so thank you, Jesus, for the ability to multitask while I'm playing games now. Okay, I can see the chat a little bit better. This was a smoky Maine Coon, I think. So I really like to do animals. I really like to do people. That's kind of my bread and butter, my kind of my sweet spot. I'm not really like an architecture girly or like a landscape girly or really any of those subject matters. This is really what I like to be doing right here is my pet portraits and my people portraits. So after I had done my other macaw drawings, I went ahead and did this. Gosh, what was the name of this one? I think it might just be a green macaw, but I really like the way that the feathers turned out here and the way that the colored pencils lended itself well to the subject matter. The way that these feathers rendered out, I thought was really nice. And then here is the tandem piece to go with the jaguar. So this tiger and this jaguar I like to display side by side. I should probably even shuffle them around the order so that they are sitting next to each other in the portfolio. Really like how that one turned out as well. And I've been meaning to make prints and do all that type of stuff, but I'm just slowly building back up to it. So for now, I think they're on Redbubble under a different username, these prints, that is, and you can get them, on t-shirts and whatnot. But I would like to take them off of a print on demand platform and get them into something that I can directly assess the quality of and whatnot. And then again, you can tell that I really did enjoy doing the feathers on birds. So I did this larger flamingo piece, which I really like how this one turned out as well. Their little feathers are just so cute. And that might be it for the ones that I display in this portfolio, but I do keep some other ones in the back. This is an unfinished piece. This is a umbrella cockatoo. Her name is Susie, actually. She's 50 years old. She's a sweet girl. These have a little bit of dust on them also. You can tell that I'm really coming back into it. This iguana is a fun one because we did this one on stream several years ago now. So if you are excited to be back as much as I am, this is kind of what we can look forward to together is creating more pieces. Then I keep some little pieces back here. These were just kind of some studies, so maybe we'll pull these out and take a look. Here's another little smoky Maine Coon, some produce studies. What's fun about these, or what I thought was fun about these at the time, is that these are done on the back of upcycled grocery bags. So this is a little strawberry, and I have a date right there with my initials. This one was done in 2015. Here we have some mandarin oranges. I liked the way that the leaves and the shadows turned out on those. Here are some oranges. I actually don't like how those turned out as much, and I think it's just because maybe they don't have the same quality of contrast and texture in the rind here, but I liked the way that this area had like a nice little luminescence. One of my earlier pet portraits, so even just between these two pieces, even though they were done in the same year, you can kind of see how I developed a little bit. This one was also 2015. Some more produce. And after I'm done showing you guys my portfolio and everything like that, then I will get into making some new pieces today, which is what I'm really looking forward to the most. Thank you for being patient with me. I know I didn't start quite exactly on time, but I was dealing with some technical difficulties trying to get OBS updated and that kind of a thing. And here are a couple more produce studies, and these are the pieces that I keep kind of in the back of my portfolio. They're not really, something that I show everyone or a lot of people, but I thought that, these pieces all kind of deserved an opportunity to shine and a little moment to be seen. And I just so rarely show them to anybody, and I feel like I haven't done a portfolio, what is it, walkthrough, I guess is the word that I would call it, before online. So I thought maybe I would do one for you guys today. Here, we're literally blowing the dust off of these pieces today as we look at them together. Another piece from 2015, one of my earlier pet portraits, and this was from around that time as well. Of course, this is the Childish Gambino from the This Is America music video. And so I like to work on um, not cardboard necessarily, but you can see that this piece is literally done just on the back of an old, let me see, not an old, what is this done on the back of? Like an old pad of paper. Once you finish, the pad of paper up, I like to keep these little backings. So like if this is a watercolor pad of paper, this right here, it's this material that I think really holds onto the colored pencil the best. I do have some artboard to draw on today. Some really nice artboard that I made sure not to scratch up on the way home. This one without the glare on it. So I really dove deep into like those purples and those greens and everything that really make a portrait come more to life than just your skin tones and things like that. So that is my smaller portfolio, and then I do have one piece in my bigger portfolio when I wanted to challenge myself to go a little bit larger. So let's see how much of this we can fit onto the screen. And then, of course, it is a bird because I was just obsessed at the time with how these feathers rendered out with this particular colored pencil technique that I like to use. So this is one that I really wanted to challenge myself on size and fleshing out a background because obviously all of those other pieces are just the subject matter with no background. So this is what kind of toucan is this? A keel-billed toucan. And I researched what type of plants and insects were native to its environment and filled the background. I think you can see them back here. There's lots of little plants there in the background, but the main flowers are a type of hibiscus, I believe, that is native to its environment. And then this butterfly here, I cannot remember what type of butterfly this is off the top of my head, is metamorphosized from this caterpillar here. So they are all animals and species and insects and flowers that live within the same environment. And maybe I'll get like a little bit of like the texture here on this branch and everything. And so this was just kind of challenge myself and push myself out of my comfort zone and see if I could do something bigger and more magnificent than I had ever done beyond just these little studies that by comparison, they're just little studies. And so, yeah, I really like the way that this one turned out as well. If you guys like them too, let me know, and I will get on to making prints of them more rapidly. So, thanks for looking at that with me. I really appreciate it. I hope that I am able to share some of my knowledge with you guys, and that way, if you guys are interested in art, also, you can feel a little bit more, maybe not feel a little bit more confident in your own art making ability, because you should be confident in yourself at whatever level you're at. Just the fact that you're making is awesome, but maybe I can give you guys some new techniques to try or some new insights or maybe some little tips that you had never heard before, and you can take that into your own art making practice and tell me how it goes. Ooh, little sip of tea. So I want to start a new series today. I want to go past birds. I want to delve into a subject matter that I had never tried before. I want to pay tribute to the old grand masters of yesteryear by starting a brand new fish series, which I think would be really interesting. So today I'm going to walk you through the entire process from start to finish, starting with, well, hopefully we'll finish it today. I know I was a little late to coming on to stream, but I want to show you guys how I sketch, show you guys how I start a piece, really walk you through like what I'm thinking, what my thoughts are, what my art making process looks like, and have you guys ask me any questions that you might have and that type of a thing. So let's get straight into it. So I have right here to sketch on some brown craft paper, and you can buy this craft paper in rolls. you can upcycle this craft paper from grocery bags that you get from the grocery store, brown paper bags. I get this in a roll. You can find rolls of brown craft paper like this anywhere for maybe like $5. They come pretty thick, and the fun part about this is that this is what I also use to wrap my parcels and packages to kind of give them like an old-timey feel slash quality. The colored pencils that I will be using today are Prismacolor brand. I like to carry something like this around me when I have my sketchbook so that I can have colored pencils with me. So I will let you guys know what colors I'm using as I go. Let's see, what else should I let you guys know? So I have this taped down to my board. And I think the next thing that I do in my process is I will find some reference photos. So I don't know if I'm at the point today where I could pull reference photos up onto the screen for you guys to share in what I'm looking at, but maybe in the future that is something that I will be able to do. Actually, maybe it wouldn't be too difficult. I would just have to find a browser to share with you guys, but I'm just going to pull up a few images here and give myself something to look at while I'm drawing. Using a reference is always encouraged when you're drawing. Use as many references as you can, honestly. And that way you have multiple visual sources to pull from and to be inspired by. I, if possible, like to take my own reference photos. I guess something else that I should probably mention about my portfolio is that these aren't all my pieces. These are all the pieces that I've kept. So I also have more pieces on my Instagram where I sold the originals, and I feel um, I have what is it? Maybe dueling opinions on the matter of selling your originals. I was always told to always keep your originals, but something just felt so weird about keeping the originals of those particular commissions. So my favorite piece that I did a few years ago was of a really sweet border collie, and if you guys check that out on my Instagram, it would make me so happy. It's the same username that I have here, Cindy Beans, and it is probably my favorite piece that I have, but it's not in my portfolio anymore. It is with the person who commissioned the work. So let me just see. I want to get at least one more image to look at before I begin my brand new fish series. And thank you guys again so much for being with me here today. I really appreciate it. I know that a lot of people develop a niche and they stream one thing and one thing only, but the reason why I came back rebranded as the Cindy Beans Variety Show was because I wanted the option to do multiple things that make me happy, and while playing games make me happy and playing art makes me happy, I would just be so devastated if I just had to choose one or the other. So you guys are so cool for sticking with me through all of my interests. Give yourself a pat on the back for supporting artists and small streamers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It really means so much to me. I really couldn't be more thrilled to be back and sharing with you guys all of the things that I love. So, with that said, maybe it's time to just start the sketching process because I'm not really finding too many images that are kind of giving me what I'm looking for aside from just the one. So, fish throughout art history, I feel like plays a really important role when you look at old still lifes and things of that nature. Particularly though, I am referencing right now like old oil painting still lifes, and I kind of want to pay homage to the meaning of fish. And I wish that I had paid more attention in my art history classes so that I could give you a deeper explanation. But maybe we'll just do like a little chat GPT of it real quick because I feel like I had been meaning to do that so that I could more appropriately. This is a good picture right here. So that I can more appropriately convey exactly what it was that I was trying to accomplish here. Let me see. Will it let me look at this any closer? That's kind of nice. The other thing about doing fish a day is that I'm hoping it'll provide me with a challenge because I have yet to try creating this kind of shimmery, metallic-y quality in my artwork, and I think that doing these little fish drawings is going to be a way that I can, again, like branch out from what I usually do and also kind of develop my technique. Okay, so I do have some images here now that I want to reference. I think the only other thing that I was going to grab was going to be a container in which to put my pencil shavings. So if you give me just another small second, I'll be right back, and then we will get into the sketching phase. All right. I thought maybe I had like a small box, but I think for right now, the back half of this egg carton will be perfect. It's like a small little cardboard box is usually what I like to stick my pencil shavings in, but I think for now this will be okay. I was saving all of these egg cartons for sound dampening qualities. And I love eggs. Eggs is probably, if I had to pick one food to take with me to a deserted island, I'm probably taking eggs or rice. Because I feel like either of those are just so versatile. You can just do so many things with them. So this is where I like to sharpen my colored pencils with a X-Acto knife. Careful when you're using these though. I have definitely hurt my fingers um, operating one of these bad boys. So yeah, just watch out for your digits on that one. Let's get this tucked back away. And the plan for this series is to start with really, really small fish and work my way up to much, much bigger fish. So let's see. This looks like a nice color to start with. Sky blue light, and I'll show you guys how I sharpen these colored pencils. If I promise not to cut my fingers. So by sharpening your colored pencils, tip number one, here we go. We're getting straight into it now. Tip number one is that by sharpening your colored pencils with an X-Acto knife versus a pencil sharpener, you are going to get so much sharper points, but you are also going to save so much pigment. There is, when you're using a pencil sharpener, so much waste of the actual colored part of a pencil that they really are just are not worth it. And these colored pencils are almost $1 a piece. I guess while I'm thanking people like I was earlier, it would also be nice to thank my mother for buying me these colored pencils back in high school. This is a set that I have been using since then and just replacing what I have used, which is mostly browns and the color white. But other than that, they are all the same colored pencils that she bought me, like a nice big tin of maybe like 300 pencils or something like that. Um, which I think we paid like $100 for at the time, which was a steal. And so, can you see like how nice the point is there? A real nice point, and we barely wasted any pigment versus a colored pencil sharpener, which will just eat up your pencil. So I'm gonna keep this here with the cap on it so that I don't have any accidental sticks. The next tip that I have for art making is that the oils from your hands can damage your artwork. So after I'm done sketching and when I'm ready to get into the actual art making process, I have some gloves that I'm going to try out today to try and keep the pigment from smearing around via the oils that are, extruded. Yeah, from your fingers. You don't really want to smear that around too much. Um, because it can damage your pieces. So let's start by doing a little sketchy sketches here. The way that I like to sketch, and man, it is kind of hard to draw with this thing straight on, isn't it? Is, well, I'll just kind of sketch like all around the page. And fish are just so interesting, right? Because they have kind of like a perfect symmetry to them. They don't really have like a up and like a, what am I trying to say? They don't really have any room for error within them. So when I'm drawing, I like to start with what will be the back end of my drawing, the front end of my drawing, and then the top and bottom of my drawing. And this will help you instead of just going straight into one particularly detailed part. Oh, let's turn the light back on so that you guys can see a little bit better. I don't want uneven lighting. Let's see. I think that might help some. Just a little bit. I'll get the camera a little bit closer so you guys can see what I'm doing here too. This will help you position your piece squarely into the center of your paper so that it doesn't end up uneven. One of the biggest things about being a professional artist is you want your image to have enough room around it on all sides so that it can fit into the mat board or into the frame without butting up against the edges. So if you haven't tried that, just know that that is one thing that you could do to make your images look a little bit more professional and try it out. Maybe if you've been looking at your pieces and you're like, I don't really know what's wrong with them, that's one thing that you could kind of start with to be like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. Or you can try it out and see what that looks like for you. So I'm going to go in with the rough shape here. And you might notice that I'm holding my pencil a little funny. I kind of like to use the side here of the pencil when I'm getting started and then use the point for more detailed portions. I am referencing an image of a sardine today. The plan for this series is to start out with really, really small fish and work my way up to much bigger fish. And I'm actually working in reverse of my reference photo. So the reference photo is actually pointed the other way. Before beginning any piece, and one thing that I failed to do today is I like to create a mood board. And a mood board is going to be a collection or a collage of all the images that have inspired your piece and all of the images that you are referencing for that particular drawing that you're doing. So the cool thing about sardines is that they kind of have like a little row of spots coming down the back here. So maybe we'll kind of loosely map those out. And then, of course, they have their eye. Let's kind of go in and we will shade out the shinier part. So, as I'm working, I think the biggest thing that I'm thinking about to make my images have a photorealistic quality is swapping back and forth between my lightest areas and my darkest areas. Contrast is going to be what really makes or break your image from being just kind of average looking to being really visually yummy, 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 yummy. So I'm going to start my sketch here with the lightest color that I see in the image. And once I'm satisfied that I have kind of mapped out all of those areas, I'm going to switch to a darker shade and we are going to map out all of the darkest areas in our piece. I'm really hoping that the lighting is okay today. I'm right next to a window and there's some soft light coming through. Again, it is snowing outside, so I didn't want to do art streams at night, and the sun has been setting here so early. It's starting to get a little bit later now again that we are on the back half of the solstice, but I'm talking like 4:30 sunsets, which doesn't really give me a lot of time to work with. when trying to make pieces. But again, today's kind of like a test in terms of like the setup and how this all works together with the lighting and everything. Maybe I can invest in like some LED lights to go across the top of my artboard here, and maybe something a little bit different. To hold my camera, I've been looking at what other streamers do to hold their stations all together. And because I am trying to do a variety of streams, it was a little bit challenging today to switch from my. See, so these pigments, if you the little flakes of the colored pencils, I feel like kind of stick to your hand and can kind of smear around on your piece, which is why I'm going to be trying the gloves later. But yeah, I had to switch, my whole setup over today from gaming to art streaming. So let's see, what area do we want to touch on first? I think I want to start with the eye, which is I think where a lot of people start. I know a lot of artists like to start at the eye and then work their way outwards. So we're going to start with his eye because that's super iconic. Let me see. It looks like his mouth part is right around there. And then, of course, we have a little gill slit. And once I'm happy with how my sketches are turning out, I begin the actual piece using my sketches to inform the final work. Let me see if that's like in the right place even. I think I might like it to be a little bit more forward. This top fin. Is it still a dorsal fin if it's on a fish? Then he has a little fin right here. So after I'm done with my fish series, I want to kind of delve back into my comfort zone. I'm going to do a series of penguins. I want have 4 species of penguins that I want to do. Wow, I have a lot of work to do, so I need to just put my plan into action here and quit kind of thinking about it and just get started. I want to do a penguin series. I want to draw 4 different species of penguins. And after that, well, that's kind of as far as I've gotten with the plan right now. So I want to do sardines, a sardine. I want to do a sardine, a herring, a squid, maybe a threadfin. What else? Oh, a capelin, and then a salmon. And I like to work life size. So this might look like kind of a big sardine, but you'd be surprised at how big these little dudes can get. So I want to do life size fish in that order, starting with the smallest one, working up to a life size salmon. That I want that to be like at least a 12-inch piece across. And then I'm going to do a series of penguins. Um, I want a chin strap penguin, a king penguin, a gentoo penguin, maybe a couple species of alcids as well, which is like puffins. And then we will see from there what's next. After that, I think maybe I want to delve into some underwater pieces where the background isn't like a forest or anything like that, but I want to do like ocean backgrounds. And then we'll see where life takes us after that. But that is the general plan right now. And what I have envisioned as I've been thinking about my art process and not necessarily making any art, I have been planning still what it is that I want to be doing. And that is what has inspired me lately is a lot of oceanic creatures. I've always had a love for the ocean and all of its inhabitants. I know definitely at one point me, just like so many other children, wanted to be a marine biologist. I feel like his fin maybe starts a little bit closer to his gill slit here, and then his tummy kind of does like again, I'm kind of working in reverse here. It kind of goes down and then comes back up. Let's make that a little bit sharper. And these are pieces that these particular fish drawings are ones that I want to enter into a art contest that is coming up. So this makes it especially special to me, in my mind anyways, that I'm going to get to share the process with you guys. You might have seen the artist trope where the artist is like squinting at their subject matter. And this is a real tip. This is like a real trick. This is like something that artists actually really do to it blurs the image so that you can ignore the details and focus on just the lights and the darks. So right now I'm squinting at my image and it's kind of blurring all of the details and allowing me to just see where are the dark portions of this drawing and where are the lighter portions. And again, as I said earlier, we're going to be swapping back and forth continuously between the lightest portions of our image and the darkest portions of our image, and that is how we are going to create something that is visually interesting with a lot of contrast. Let me see, I kind of missed putting the chat up on screen, so let me see if I can switch to that. Oh, here we go. Yeah, let me get the chat put up over here so that I don't miss any of your guys' questions, because that is also a big part of today. I want to make sure that I answer any and all questions that you guys might have. Right here, where is stream manager? Perfect. Oh no, I'm just now seeing this. Maybe I missed something. I really, really hope not. But if you're here, hi, hello. It is so lovely to be back. I've missed you guys. Feel free to ask me a question. I'm here answering questions today. And let's see. I don't think I told you guys what color it is that I'm working with here right now. There we go. Can I get this to close? No, it's not going to close. This color is indigo blue. And let's see. So the tail is a little bit darker than the rest of his body. Let's give that a good wash of color here. Using the side of my colored pencil, I'm able to fill in a bigger area than if I were just using the tip. And then we have another kind of band of color here. You don't need this brand of colored pencils in order to create your colored pencil pieces. Any colored pencil brand will do, especially if you're just starting off, if you're just learning. Don't overwhelm yourself. I feel like the biggest question that me and other artists get is, what brand are you using? What brand is that? What kind of paper do you use? What colored pencils do you use? And I want to say that you can make art with even the cheapest dollar store brands, with even the quote unquote lowest quality Crayola, rose art kind of colored pencils. It's mostly just all about contrast and achieving contrast and placement of your tones in relation to the other tones in your piece. I really, really, really hope the lighting is okay. I wish I had a way of making it brighter on this side, but until I invest more into higher quality lighting setup, it's gonna be a little bit uneven. It looks great to me, but I think on camera it might be a little bit interesting looking. Let's also give him a little bit of a shadow. Kind of do want him to have a little bit of like a 3D effect where it's almost like he's coming off the page. I think that would be nice. I am also, when we get into the actual piece, going to maybe put something down underneath my paper so that I'm not let's get white out so that I'm not against the artboard and creating unintentional texture from the wood on the board. I really want to be able to press hard, which is part of what this technique implements is pressing hard to blend your colors together. I really want to be able to press hard without picking up any of the texture from the board that I'm drawing on. And if I get quiet here, it's just because I'm thinking, but hopefully you guys are Well, I was gonna say enjoying the ASMR, but I am mic'd up and I don't have the sound from the board playing, so maybe you can't really hear the scribbles as well. All right, so now we have white. So up until now, my lightest color was this skylight blue. And we are going to, let me make sure that you guys can see this. We are going to add even more contrast now by raising the overall value of the piece. Let's see. So it looks like the biggest highlight area is actually a nice little band of color that lives right here in the middle of the fish, and already you can see how these blues and this white are starting to blend together really nicely. Let's put the lightest portion of our eye right here. This paper here, this craft paper, is also not going to hold as many layers of color as the artboard is going to be able to. So that's why it is just for sketching. It's because we are not going to be able to achieve the same quality of depth that we are going to be able to achieve on the artboard. So I am now looking at my image and picking out the strongest highlights. And I'm going to focus on those here for a little bit. Just anything that is the lightest portion of my drawing. And again, squinting at your image is actually going to give you a real advantage. So don't be afraid of looking silly. I wonder if you guys can hear that really nice drawing sound. So I did attend an art university, but some of the best artists I know are self-taught. So you don't necessarily need to go to art school. I think that's another question that I get frequently is what art school did you go to? What art school should I be attending? And those kinds of questions. And while I really valued my time at art school and it taught me a lot, I would like to make sure that other people know that it's not 100% necessary to be an artist. I know plenty of people that I went to school with, and they are not artists. They switched majors, or what they do post college isn't even art related at all. So I think when it comes to college and when it comes to choosing what you're going to do outside of high school or after high school, I wish what somebody had told me, and this is the advice that I would give other people, is go on to study what you're interested in that moment and know that after school you can always curve your trajectory and you might end up doing something completely different, something that's not related to the degree that you had gotten at all, but it's your life. And if you're going to be spending so much money to be going to a secondary school, I think it would be to your own benefit to study something that you're passionate about to make sure that you finish the schooling. You can get your degree in anything, and then if you ever want to go back to school, that is always an option. Maybe not always an option. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe that's a little bit presumptuous to say that everybody has the option to go back to school, but you know your circumstance better than anybody else. And if you have people in your life that are pushing you to do one thing, my parents wanted me to do computer science. And are there some days where I look at the current job market and I go, gosh, if I had done computer science, I could be doing this and I could be doing that? It's true. And maybe you want to be a little bit more strategic with your time in that way, in those regards. But if you're undecided and you don't know what you want to do, pick something that you're interested in at the time, whether it's music or dance or art, or you can go to art school for so many different things. I went to art school for animation and illustration, but there were ceramic majors, sculpture majors, painting majors, fiber majors, which was fashion design, but also fiber arts, which is a whole field of art that you might not even know about. And I feel like just by going to college for something that you're interested in, you might meet exciting people who have different ideas for different passions that you had never even considered before. The other big tip that I wish that people had given me in college was to network more because I was so focused on my grades that I never went to any parties, and I was so focused on being a standout in my class that I never went out of my way to try and make friends. And now that I'm out of school, I realize that all of those people that could have been my friends also could have been my biggest opportunity for getting different jobs. And I wish that I had been more extroverted while I was in college. I actually wish that I had gone to more parties when I was in college, or just any party, a singular party would have, benefited me more than you realize. And that was what I told my siblings when they were getting ready to go to school. My my mom goes, she goes, "Beans, can you give your siblings some advice? What is your biggest advice for going to school? Please tell them they need to know." And she was expecting me to say study hard and don't drink and don't party, and well, you shouldn't be drinking anyways. Drinking is bad for you guys. Um, she was expecting me to say, stay on the straight and narrow, and don't worry about your friends or what your friends are doing, and make sure that you're studying and that you go to class and that you go to sports practice and this and the other thing. And I think she was so disappointed when I said, hey, make friends. Make friends, and don't be shy about it. Make sure that you're talking to people because it really is the number one regret that I have. So that was white blanc, just pure white, not 20% gray, not anything like that. We're just elevating our value levels. Now we're going to move in with slate gray. And while we are using all kind of monotone grays right now, I really want to make sure that just like in my other piece, just like where in that self-portrait, it's all neutrals, it's all skin tones. I really want to make sure that I'm using unexpected colors to bring more vibrancy and more life into my piece so that it doesn't look so obvious or so much like the photograph. My foundations teacher, which at my school you take foundations your freshman year before you even begin your major, so that you had the opportunity to explore other areas of art that you might not have realized you were interested in. And my foundations teacher, oh gosh, what was I about to say? What did he say about color? Something I was trying to tell you guys. Oh no, I hope I didn't forget that forever. I'm sure it'll come up again. What was I going to say? What did that guy say? Totally slipped my mind as I was trying to explain the circumstance to you. It's because I've got a hundred things bouncing around in my head right now. I'm sorry. I'm trying to focus on this stream, and I'm also trying to give you guys tips, and I'm also trying to stay in the zone about making the actual art. Can't remember what he said. I can remember what my high school teacher said, which was that the the colored pencils that come straight out of the box, those are like the ingredients, but it's how you mix them that really make the image gourmet. And she always used to say that if you were just coloring things or just painting things, the pure pigment that came out of a watercolor palette, for instance, you weren't actually really using them to their fullest quality that you could be if you were mixing them all together. So she would say just using the color straight out of the box was kind of like eating McDonald's, but that if you mixed all the colors together, that was like eating gourmet. And her name was Cynthia Porco, and she was really cool, and I always remember wanting to be just like her. And I think I had another art teacher at a different high school who also said something very similar, but I cannot think of her name right now for the life of me. She was also a very cool lady. Sometimes we would just call her Lady, so maybe that's why I'm kind of spacing on her name right now. But one thing that I like to do to make sure that I'm creating an image that's as vibrant as possible is I will take my reference photo into a photo editing software. and play with the saturation and with the contrast to make it more vibrant and more contrasty than what I found originally. And you'll find if you take the saturation of your piece all the way up, what you'll find is so many colors hidden within that image that you didn't realize were there before. You'll find purples and oranges and reds, and those are the colors that are really going to make your piece stand out, is if you start using colors other than what is expected or what you first see in the image. So there's this one, and then there's like a little line right here that kind of comes down, and I want to make sure that I'm showing that too. So I might have, let me see, we'll do a line right here. And we'll take a band of color across the top of him because he's kind of got this gray. So even though a sardine looks just really gray and metallic-y and blue, in order to really bump up the contrast, we're going to look for these little moments that we are afforded where maybe we could squeeze in some orange. Actually, I think that might be the next color that we use, is we'll use a little bit of orange. And I'll show you guys how by juxtaposing those two hues that you can bring a little bit more visual interest into your piece. So another thing is that I really like to work on these brown toned papers instead of a white sheet of paper. By using a brown toned paper, you're able to go up and down the value scale a lot more easily than if you were to start on a white sheet of paper where you are already immediately at your highest uh, whitest value and having to bring all of your colors down. This allows you to create contrast far more easily, I believe, if you are working on a mid-tone sheet of paper. So brown is my favorite. We just went through my portfolio a little bit ago, and you might have noticed that every single one of my pieces was on a brown tone paper. So if you're new to my art, that's kind of what I like to do. That's kind of how you would know it was me if you were trying to pick me out at a gallery, I suppose. Oh, I like the background music. Hopefully my audio doesn't get flagged or anything like that. You guys are gonna have to tell me if my audio goes away, okay? Because I don't really have a way of feeding this back to me. Also, welcome, hi, if you're new here, or if you're just now joining. My name is Cindy Beans. You can call me Beans. And today we are doing a piece from start to finish. I would love to answer any questions that you guys have about art making or my background or my process or what products I'm using, anything like that. Or if you just want to stop by and say hello, maybe you were here a few weeks ago when we were playing Project Zomboid and you are very surprised that I am drawing now. um, so feel free to say hi wherever you came from. Maybe tell me what the weather's like in your part of the world because it just started snowing here a little bit ago. And there are just the tiniest little flakes now coming down outside. And yes, please, 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 please let me know if at any point the audio cuts out because I will make sure to fix it as fast as possible. So up until now, we use indigo blue, skylight blue, slate gray, and white. And this one's gotten so short that it's almost even a stump. But this is mineral orange that we are going to go in with next. And I am just shaving my pencils here by hand into, can you even see that? Into a little back half of an egg crate to collect all the little shavings. I was saying earlier how these X-Acto knives are able to make your pencils last so much longer and get them so much sharper than just your standard pencil sharpener. And with how expensive art supplies are, you really want to make sure that you are taking good care of your materials and that you are getting the best bang for your buck. That is one thing that our art teacher always was pretty wild about, was never sweeping your shavings away. You want to make sure that you are always blowing them away or that you are using a brush or something, again, because you're going to get the paper oily with your hands, and also you are going to end up smearing a little bit. So here we go with the mineral orange, and you'll see how this immediately gives the piece a lot more visual interest than just having the blue on there. So blue and orange are opposites on the color wheel, which means when you put them next to each other, you are going to get another type of contrast, a color contrast. And that can make your image a lot more appealing as well. So that's one tip that you could take into your own art. If you feel like your pieces are lacking interest, you could look at the color wheel, look at what color is across the color wheel from whatever color you've been mainly using, and try placing those two colors right next to each other in your work and see how it just kind of immediately pops. Let's see, so we'll take this down into a stripe down the back. Not too much because he's not an orange fish, he is a blue fish, but by sneaking this color kind of into the mid-tone areas, I think it's going to give us a nice little appeal. And then after we're done with this, I'm going to go back in with a darker color and see what that does for us. And again, this is all still just the sketch. I'm just using this sketch as a place to practice what colors I want and where for the main piece. I almost wish I had like a thing up right now that said like sketching phase. Hello. Oh, that's like a little bot. That's cute though. I'm glad that we had like at least one little thing in the chat. If you're hanging out in the chat, feel free to say hello. I would love to know what's on your guys' mind today. It is a little bit chilly here today. I'm very glad to be indoors. So let's go back in with our darkest color right now. This is indigo blue again. I just want to retouch or revisit some of the darkest areas of the piece to up the contrast back up and put a little bit more definition back into these areas that have maybe gotten a little bit too light. I am switched to the point of my pencil now. He's almost got like a little ear right here is what I'm going to call that. I think fish might actually have ear bones. But I would need like a what's the word for a fish scientist? Is it an ichthyologist? Something like that? That's just what that's the word that my brain is offering me right now, but I could be wrong and I probably am wrong. Let me know. Maybe one of you guys could Google it for me really quick because my brain thinks it's a fun little game at this moment trying to think of what word that is. So if I were to have started this over with my mood board and everything, I probably would have like a couple pictures of a sardine, one for maybe colors that I want to use, one for maybe, oh, hi guys. Are those bits? Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for the bits. Mazza beans, appreciate it. Of course, I know your username isn't Mazza beans, but I hope you're all right with me putting a beans on there at the end. Because by hanging out, you are officially a member of the Beans family. Thank you for being here. I hope you're experiencing some lovely weather wherever you are and having a very nice day. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so I have my cute little heart sweater on for y'all. Again, taking this darkest color that I've used so far, we are going to redefine the darkest areas of this image because it is the contrast that is going to really make it pop and really make it look yummy. So you might be thinking, well, you used white. What about black? Oh, no, 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 no. Don't fall into that trap. Using black is going to make your image look so, unless you are explicitly trying to make a statement with the use of black, try to find your own way to make black, either by blending a dark brown and an indigo blue. These two colors together right here would make you such a more interesting shade of black than if you were to just use one straight out of the box. In fact, I'll show you. So this is this is one of my most well used pencils, and this is my black colored pencil. And you can see that the black actually still has the original sharpening on it from when I got it. I never ever ever use black in my images if I can help it, except for maybe the one time I did in a drawing that I did of two black cats. I mainly used purple and brown to achieve the black fur, and then as a last little bit of visual interest, I maybe put in like that much black into the pupils just to give it one little tiny pinpoint of darker than what I had already used. But black for me is a big no no, and I avoid using it at all costs. And you'll just see that the tones that you can get from mixing two other colors together to create your darkest shade is going to be so much more visually interesting than if you were to use a black colored pencil directly. So going back in and putting those little spots in that I think are so lovely. We'll come down here and we'll give his tail a little bit of a darker shade. Let me squint at him again. Right there. So I think I'm going to maybe depth in this shadow, deepen this shadow. I know how to use words appropriately. Kind of give him a little bit more definition on his edge here. Let's define his back flipper a little bit better. His back flipper, I think these are fins when it's a fish. I think flippers are like for dolphins and sea lions and what have you. Here we go. I am picking up a little bit of the texture from the board there, so I can't wait to get to the actual piece and lay down a little bit of something in the underside of this piece to not have to worry about picking up random textures. Little fin like that, and then he is really dark on the top, so let's kind of darken it up here some. Okay, so now we actually are going to come in with this dark brown color. And if I can find my burnt umber, I might prefer that one. Let's see which of these is darker. I think the dark brown might be darker, actually. We shall sharpen it. This one looks like it was touched by a pencil sharpener, so maybe I hadn't had a X-Acto knife the last time I was using it, which is unfortunate. Oh, is this a dark umber here? I think this might still be the darkest shade of brown that I have. So we'll take this one and I'll show you how I create my own black values, or black kind of in quotation marks there. See, if you were using a pencil sharpener right now, you would just be munching, munching, munching away at this colored pencil. You'd probably take a whole centimeter off of it versus just a few little millimeters off the top here. I have had, with the exception of some colored pencils that I've had to replace, I have had these same colored pencils since high school. So if you take really good care of your art supplies, you'll get a long use out of them. And I guess I don't want to say how long ago high school was for me, but let's just suffice it to say that it was long enough ago to have it be pretty impressive that these pencils are still lasting me. So with the brown on top of that indigo in the pupil, you can see that we've created what looks like black. But let's take the black colored pencil out and kind of smush it off over to the side here. Let's put it, let me see if I can see where this is ending up. Let's put just a little bit right here. So there's black. Ugh. Looks like something smudged on the paper. It's just so not appealing to me. And here's a little bit of dark brown. Here's a little bit of blue on top. You can see how this just looks so much better than just simply black. Even if you were to mix brown into this, it just, you see how it doesn't have that same depth? Wow, I've never actually looked at them side by side like that before, but it is amazing to me how much better this looks than this. Maybe I'll even write it on there so that you guys can kind of see. This is just a sketch page. I'm concentrating very hard because I actually do not have great handwriting. There we go. And that's just a little micron pen, if you're wondering. That was 0.5. Because when you go to blend black in this technique that we have here with the other colors, if we were to be using black right now to blend it in, it just wouldn't turn out the same. It just would not turn out the same at all. And you'll just have to trust me until you try it out for yourself. Try it out for yourself and then come back and let me know how you felt about it. Because black can be used in visually interesting ways, like I said, to kind of really put the exclamation point, so to speak, on the end of a piece. But I would use it very sparingly in very few areas. And if you're here and you're hanging out, I appreciate it, even if you're just lurking. Don't be shy, but also no pressure. I'm just happy to be here. At some point in the art making process for me, sharing the process became just as important as actually making the piece. I don't know when that kind of click happened for me, but it happened at some point, and since then, making art has just never been the same if I can't kind of explain my way through it, or at least video it. If you go onto my YouTube channel, I have a few, I usually call them speed drawings, but they're not really speed drawings per se because I'm not drawing as fast as I can. They're just sped up videos of my drawing process. And those are because at some point I realized that the technique that I'm using with the colored pencils isn't one that I've seen so many other people doing. And it was around that time that I felt the need to start recording my art making process and sharing it with other people. So the art can no longer for me just happen secluded in my bedroom or in my living room. For me, it almost has to happen with an audience of some sort. At some point, and this is how I would explain it, at some point, the recording of the process became just as important as the process itself. Because a lot of people couldn't believe it. I started using this technique of layering colored pencils up extremely thickly back in high school. And I remember at one particular state art contest, kind of walking down the other aisle and just so happened to be passing other people looking at my piece at the same time as I was walking down this other row. And I overheard them commenting that they could not believe that it was colored pencil to the point where they reached out and touched my art, and I couldn't help it. I had to comment from the background and say, please don't touch my art." And they took their hand back, very shocked that I was there watching them looking at my art, and they said to me, "That's really colored pencil?" I said, "Yeah, that's really colored pencil. You just layer it up really, really thick." And they were amazed, and that was a really cool feeling for me. And I couldn't say that it was then that I knew that I had to share my art making process. That was a few years later, closer to when I was finishing college, back when Twitch streaming was new, kind of a thing. When did Twitch come out? Oh, that's going to be my Google question of the day, I think. Hello. Oh, hi. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm reading your username right. Capture. Hello. It says it is your first time in the chat, I think. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Really excited to have you today. We are in the sketching phase of a new piece for a new series that I'm starting. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I am stoked to be chatting with people today. Sometimes getting art made can be a little bit lonesome, and I really yearn for that feeling of being in the art room with so many of my peers sitting around me and all of us working on our pieces at the same time, and getting to have that break in the creation process to get up and walk around and see what everybody else was working on. So I love sharing the process. I love sharing my time while I'm making the process. I would love to answer any questions you may have or even just chat about how your day is going. It's not, the snow is kind of let up over here if you're wondering what I'm experiencing. It was snowing a little bit ago. Basically, right when I sat down to start streaming, it started snowing, and I just thought that was so lovely and such cozy vibes. And I've got my candle going in the back, my little woodwick candle burning, and a cup of tea that is no longer warm now that I've been streaming for a little bit. But yeah, this is a sardine. Yes. Oh my gosh, you just made my whole day because that tells me that I'm on the right path or something. So I'm starting a brand new series. I went through my portfolio earlier in the stream. It was the first thing that I did was I took out my portfolio so that I could show new viewers and people who aren't accustomed to my work kind of the types of pieces that I like to create. And I noticed the last time that I was going through my portfolio that I really had a love for birds and cats and people, and I want to push myself beyond my comfort zone by starting a new series where I draw fish, kind of as a tribute to the old masters' still lives um, that depicted fish in such a beautiful oil painted quality. And I want to push myself out of my love for feathers and fur and push myself into this metallic-y scaly texture that I don't do as much. And so the plan is to do a whole series of fish. I like to work life size if I can, preferably from my own images, but I don't have any sardines around me that I can go photograph. It would be so nice to be able to photograph a sardine so that I could have my own image to work from instead of a stock photo on the internet. But c'est la vie, and that will be my new series. So hopefully you guys can hang out with me while I'm working and keep me a little bit of company. I'm switching back to my white colored pencil now, by the way, to amp the contrast back up in the other direction now that we are done putting that dark brown color in there. So I did say at the beginning of the stream, because this is one of the biggest tips I remember sharing from when I was streaming several years ago, is that you are going to want to go back and forth between your lightest color and your darkest color quite frequently in order to create a visually appealing difference in shades to get that nice kind of contrast. Oh, thank you. Oh, hi. Hey, thanks. Aw. Yeah, greetings to you guys. Thanks for hanging out all the way from KC. Gosh, I do miss Kansas City. What's your favorite way to eat sardines? I actually cannot say that I have ever eaten sardines. Maybe ever. Maybe I should try eating sardines. My favorite fish to eat is salmon, by the way. I love salmon, which is not why I'm saving it for the last piece in this series, but maybe gives me something to look forward to as I move through it. Maybe as I'm creating these pieces and experiencing or experimenting with new subject matters and with new rendering techniques, maybe I should also be taking it upon myself to be trying new foods as well. Maybe this is my sign to try and eat some sardines sometime this week. You'll have to tell me the best way to prepare them then, because I don't want to be disappointed and then be put off of trying new things forever. You know what I mean? I like salmon with like a little bit of lemon and some rice and some vegetables. I'm really simple, but sometimes it's the simple things done right. The classics, if you will. Mm. The lightest and the darkest colors right next to each other always does it for me right there. Let's get a little bit more of this color right here, this slate gray. And this is just the sketch phase too. Maybe it's worth saying that as well. So right now we are sketching, maybe a study would also be kind of what I would call it. So this is a study in sardines on just a little piece of brown craft paper that I buy by the roll for this purpose and also for wrapping up my packages. But we are going to kind of get a feel for the subject matter, get a feel for creating these metallics, get a feel for how I best want to create the look of scales and everything. And once I am satisfied that I feel like I really know my subject matter, then I will bust out the more expensive piece of artboard that I have procured, and I will create the final piece after doing this study here. I wish I had also had remembered to create a mood board, but there were so many other parts of the stream that I was playing with before I got on that it kind of just slipped my mind, and I thought it better to maybe just kind of hop online instead of being late. I didn't want to be too late to the time that I had set for myself. So if you follow me over on Twitter, I'm still calling it Twitter. I cannot call it X just for the life of me. It'll always be Twitter, and I guess maybe one day when I'm old, the younger people in my family can go, "Why do you still call it Twitter? It's not Twitter. What's a Twitter? It's X now, you old lady." And that'll just be like my old person quality about me, is that I will refuse to address it as such. There we go. This slate gray is really popping out now against these other colors. I don't know, something about it. Microwave it a little. Really? You're kidding me. Oh, okay, hang on, hang on. Fried sardines are a no-go in my opinion. Okay. They're sad and salty poverty food. Canned sardines with some sauce is the way to go. Microwave it a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna try something new this week. Hey, thank you. Thank you for the follow, by the way. I don't know why I'm not getting notifications in my headset, but I guess that'll just give me something else to fix for the next time. I figured it would be better to be on time for my stream today and then work out the little kinks. You know, with me being the perfectionist I am, of course, want everything to be perfect, but I figured it'll never be perfect when it comes to streaming. I just have to kind of go along and get better with it as I go because I think consistency is going to be so much more important than fine tuning, especially right now in the beginning when I'm trying to make more friends on here. And I can figure out the kinks like video and setup and fine tuning the audio settings and whatnot later. Well, all those things are pretty important, but when it comes to like little things like the gosh, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like the notifications and whatnot, like, I'm never gonna know how those are doing until I just hop straight into streaming and actually doing it. So now that I'm learning that it's not working the way that I want it to, I can try and adjust it better for next time. Let's see. So I'm doing some more of that little squinting thing that I do, trying to see where some of these midtones are now. Sardines, huh? Okay, I'm gonna try them. I'm gonna try them. I'm gonna be brave. I think life is all about experiencing and trying new things, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try some sardines, I think. I had come across a little can of chocolate sardines recently, which was really cute because they came in a little tin and everything, kind of the way that traditional sardines would come. I'm just a sucker for anything that's in novel packaging like that. They're cooked already, so you just have to warm them up a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm going to try. Okay, so my thing about eating sardines though is that like aren't there bones inside? What about the bones and like the organs and everything? Or when they put them in the tin, they're probably already like deboned and de what is the word? Gutted? Are they gutted and everything? Now I'm getting kind of nervous. Also, I hope the lighting's okay. Let's go back in with our indigo now and try to find some more of these darker areas. It's starting to really come together, I think. I don't know, you guys tell me. Watching the image go from start to finish on high speed playback is one of my favorite parts too. Because when I start the sketch, I'm always like, I don't know, I don't really like how it's going. And then it reaches a certain point where the contrast levels are interesting enough that it starts to take on a real life of its own. And that's always so nice when at some point you can look down and go, oh, wow, I actually kind of like how it's turning out. That's very, very satisfying. This is again what I think I'm calling the ear bone. I think fish might have bones, you guys. Oh, so I was going to say if I were to do a mood board again, it would be a couple, if not several images of sardines. One for color, one for proportion and sizing. Then maybe one in there that was a picture that I had taken. I don't think ones out of the can are going to come out quite as perfect looking as this though, and I did kind of want like a perfect looking sardine for this image. And then I would maybe even get like a picture of fish anatomy up next to it so that I would know what I was referencing with every little part of the body there. And then probably on that mood board, I would probably also put my inspiration for the image up next to those images and maybe have some of the oil paintings that I keep talking about next to those other realistic photographs. And that would give me kind of like a color or like a quality to kind of reference. And it would be with all of those images while looking, I would go and print that out. And it would be while looking at all of those images and keeping all of those things in mind that I would be creating my final piece so that it doesn't look like any one thing, but kind of pools from all of those. So if you feel like you're having a hard time with your art, try making a mood board next time. And if I'm not explaining it properly, you could look it up or maybe, I don't know, chat GPT what a mood board for art is and how you could make one. And try printing that out and posting it up in your workspace when you're making your next piece and see if having that, they were always so big on us in school about having a mood board ready for your work so that you knew what you were pulling from and that you weren't just kind of creating something out of thin air, which I am so envious of people that can draw just straight from their imagination with no reference photo or no inspiration photo or anything like that. But they did not want us doing that in school. And I have found basically every single time, 100% of the time, that my art always, always, always looks so much better whenever I've had a mood board ready to go. So that is my one regret for today's stream. But again, I wanted to be on time so that you guys could rely on me instead of having all the little kinks worked out. I knew that I could work just like this, but I was having problems with OBS and the Twitch stream itself. So that took precedent kind of immediately over getting the mood board prepped and ready to go. Also, I think I'm having issues with my printer right now. So kind of a combination of things. I'm doing my little squint technique. Let's find another tone here. I need kind of another dark blue, but not quite the same as what I have right now. Or maybe a purple. I think a purple would be very visually interesting. It might be another gray. I need like another color to fill in right there, but I don't want to. Ah, yeah, see, I hear you. Hang on, let me see what are you guys are telling me. I don't want to miss a single thing. It's so nice having people here to talk with. Let's see. Talking about microwave fish, don't fall for it. Right? It almost seems like a crime. You've been meaning to tell me you've eaten canned fish cold? Okay, so, oh, see, I did miss that. Don't think about it, don't inspect it. That's funny. You eat the bones? You're kidding me. You eat the bones and guts. Oh, yuck. Oh, you did Google it. Thank you. Surströmming. I hope I pronounced that right. Isn't gutted, but calling that edible is a stretch. And then Woodler said the art output has been nil for you for a couple of years, and I totally, totally relate to that. No self discipline when it comes to projects like this, or most things actually. You don't even have to tell me. I'm going to take a quick break right now. I'm just going to run to the restroom really fast, and I'll come back and I have so much to say about that. So just give me 2 secs and I'll be right back. Let me see if this little pause screen still works. Okay, I'm back. I warmed up my tea, popped a couple of blueberries in my mouth. Maza Beans told me recently that you are not supposed to microwave your water because it's bad for it because water has memory, but I do not like to wait for my water to boil. So here we are. Mm. It's nice to take breaks too from it because once you see the reference photo again and your piece again with kind of fresh eyes, even if it's just a momentary break, you get new insights into what you're doing and what you could be doing. For instance, I think the fish that I'm drawing is a little bit too perfect. He kind of needs some of a disheveled look in his fins. So here's the thing about making art and being an artist and feeling guilty about not making art. Um, Capture said, I believe her reference sardine is in the toilet bowl and will now be flushed down. Sorry. Thank you. I really needed that laugh. I'm crying. Jesus. Oh my god, you guys, that is so funny. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just tired, or I don't know why that was like so funny to me. Let me find the right shade of green here. Artichoke. Yeah, I like that. Let's use this shade of artichoke, which I've actually never even used before, and we will sharpen it. Sorry, that's got me dying. Here's the thing about being an artist and feeling guilty about making art. Yeah, because I think that that's something that everybody feels. And I don't want to be like the world and the society and we live in a society and that kind of thing. I hate talking about that type of stuff and I hate making excuses and and feeling that way, feeling jaded against the world in any type of manner and using it as what can feel like an excuse for not making art or not being disciplined enough because there are those that live in the same conditions in the same world that we live in who deal with everything that we have going on and still manage to be so disciplined and everything. Although of course I would like to see their support system, and that's really where I'm going is without a proper support system, it is so hard and so impossible almost to stay diligent to your craft. And so if you're the type of person who's going at the world alone, just know that you are not at fault in any way for not sticking with your hobbies or your craft or anything like that. I think everybody needs a break from their activities every once in a while. I took a really long break from my activity, and you better believe that I spent every single day beating myself up about the fact that I wasn't making art and that I needed to be making art and that I wasn't living in my purpose by not making art. But the truth is that I was a little bit burnt out, and I also was kind of having a little bit of a crisis, feeling like my art didn't have anything to say and that my art didn't really have a purpose. This artichoke color is really doing it for me right now. And was kind of feeling a little, maybe disillusioned isn't the right word, maybe discouraged is a better word. And I had to work through those feelings. I had to go and I had to work through those feelings and think and plan about what I would be doing with my art when I did pick it up again and finding inspiration. And now that I have found inspiration and I'm finally in a place, and I don't like either to give the advice of like, oh, we'll just wait for the inspiration to strike because of course being disciplined is so much more than just being motivated. Being motivated and being disciplined are two very, very different things, right? One is doing it when the mood strikes you, and then one is doing it, all the time consistently, regardless of how you're feeling about it. Sometimes you have to take a break. I'm not the most disciplined person either. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be better about being disciplined you know, in the things that I choose to be disciplined in. But I think that's the other kind of point that I'm trying to make is you can't be disciplined with everything, right? It's like, is it feasible to go to the gym and make art every day? Is it feasible to to prioritize all the things that you want to be doing? I don't think it really is. On top of maintaining a clean house and good health and everything, where is a person in a world like today's world supposed to find time for making art? I don't know. I don't have those answers. I just know that you should not feel bad about taking a break from your craft or about doing the things that you need to do to be happy. I've been playing so many video games lately. You asked me what I've been doing in my free time lately. I haven't been practicing sign language. I haven't been running the way that I used to run. I haven't been studying or reading. I've been playing. You want to know what I've been doing this week instead of drawing and instead of Twitch streaming? Which I mean, I was just Twitch streaming playing Project Zomboid, so it's not even like I was doing art making or anything like that. I have been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla on Xbox Game Pass and Red Dead Redemption 2, also on the Xbox. So if those are things that make you happy, I think there's also work to be done in not feeling guilty about it. If you let yourself, that's the other thing, right? Is I'd be playing video games and I would go, I need to be Twitch streaming this right now. There's no possible way that I could be playing video games right now and not Twitch streaming it. Oh, I'm a horrible person for not monetizing my hobbies and for not being quote unquote more productive. Yeah? Then guess what happens? Then I sit there and I do nothing. I don't play the games that make me happy. I'm not streaming on Twitch. I'm not doing any of the things that I'm supposed to be doing. And then I'm not even enjoying myself. So if you like to play video games, you are allowed to play video games just for the sole purpose that they make you happy and that they bring you joy in some capacity. I think that's completely valid. And that is something that I've been having to unlearn and relearn, whichever way you want to look at that, is that you are allowed to like the things that you like and to participate in the hobbies and the activities that you like without needing to monetize them, without needing to be productive all the time. I think being productive all the time is so hard to upkeep, and I think that's how you burn out quickly. So just don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel guilty about not being. This is the first time I've streamed art in, I want to say it's been like 4 years. And I hope you guys go back and watch the beginning of my stream after I sign off today so that you guys can see my portfolio. Because even as I was flipping through, those feelings of guilt were coming back to me. Those feelings saying, why did I stop doing this? I should have never stopped doing this. I can't believe I'm not making art. Think of all the art pieces that I could have made if I was making just one art piece a week. And those types of feelings. And I had to tamp those feelings down, the feelings that were making me feel guilty, because by making myself feel guilty, it's not doing me any favors. So do yourself a favor and just let yourself be sometimes. That's challenging in and of itself, is to just let yourself exist without needing to be so productive, without needing to be so disciplined. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on the matter. And maybe I didn't even get my actual point across, but and maybe I'm wrong for that. Maybe I should feel guilty for not being more productive. Maybe I should feel bad for not using what so many people call a talent and a gift and giving that back to the world by not producing art and putting it out. Maybe I am wrong for not creating more pieces. That's certainly, with all of that unlearning that I just talked about, even with all of that, I've still been feeling that way. I've still been feeling guilty. But I'm here now. I'm making art now. I'm Twitch streaming now. I'm excited and I have a plan now that I have refound inspiration and a direction that I want to go in. So I'm just going to stick with it. And is it always going to be perfect? Am I always going to be as consistent as I mean to be? I mean, probably not, but baby steps. Baby steps in the right direction. If I start getting too ahead of myself, the road ahead is going to start to become super intimidating, and I don't want to psych myself out before I even get started. You know what I mean? Really need to paint. It's literally killing me not to create. And I hear you too in that. I hear you big time. It's so painful to have a creative soul and not be making anything. Maybe you and I can make art at the same time. Maybe when I come on to stream, maybe you can be painting too, and then it'll be kind of like when we used to make art together. I miss that. I miss that a lot. It was so much, and again, those were the vibes that I'm hoping to create now. Is when that's why I like Twitch streaming while I'm drawing, is because it takes me back to when I was in the art room in high school. Um, when I could have graduated early, but instead I decided to just take a whole bunch of art classes for my final semester, and I was like in two or three art classes my last year of high school. AP art, building up my portfolio for college, and hanging out with people. And anytime you needed to stand up and take a stretch break, there were other artists and other creative people there to talk to and to bounce, ideas off of and to get feedback from. But more importantly, to see different artists' personalities and different artists' styles and see what other people were working on, and to just exist in that creative zone. No better feeling, honestly. Such a good feeling to be surrounded by other creatives, to be surrounded by other people that share similar interests to you is such a good feeling. Let's find another color, maybe. Or maybe it needs more white. So I think it's ready for me to bust out the white colored pencil. Oh, the sky blue colored pencil is going to hit so hard next time. So I love when it goes from this kind of almost chalky colored pencil-y quality to, oh, oh, I don't mean to make you tear up. Oh, I'm glad it resonates with you. Should set up a community Discord for people to share their work and hang while working. I love that idea. Oh, that's amazing. I love that idea so much. If I set up a Discord, will you guys join it? I think I might have a Cindy Beans Discord. Here's a little secret. I am really, really bad at understanding Discord. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So maybe one of y'all can kind of help walk me through it, and we could get a little Discord going for all of us. But yeah, I love when it goes from this like chalky texture to more of this. You see where it starts to feel a little bit more oil painty, just like num 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 num. It's so yummy. It's so yummy when it starts to look like that. Here we go back in with the light sky blue to really kind of bring out a little bit more of this lighter tone in the belly, but it's going to blend so nicely and start bringing in this oil paint kind of quality that I really love. Well, hey, thanks for hanging out, you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making me feel like I'm accomplishing something and like I'm making the right choices by getting back into streaming. Now I'm going to cry, honestly. You guys are going to make me cry. I appreciate the follow. I appreciate you guys chatting, talking and hanging out with me. It means so much to me. You can't even imagine. You really can't even begin to imagine how much it means that you guys are here spending time with me today. Because I get so apprehensive, wondering, like, well, what if it's not quote unquote successful? Like, what if I'm just there all by myself, not having any people interact with me? Like, what if this, what if that? What if it goes belly up for a little fish pun? So super validating to have you guys hanging out and chatting with me and being able to bounce ideas off of you guys. It would be cool if we created a space where artistic people could come together and share ideas and have a little community. I miss feeling like I have a community. I miss that feeling. Squint, squint. What is that? I am working in reverse from my reference photo right now. So I'm trying to, let me see. So if that goes like that, so if that's curved that way, then we're going to need to curve it this way. Is that what I'm looking at right now? And then there's a big highlighted spot right here. He said that the sardine was in the toilet bowl. You guys are freaking hilarious. Next time I'm just saying I'm taking a break. You guys are too funny. Let me take a sip of tea too, because otherwise it's gonna get cold again. It's peach green tea, which I'm really excited about. I got it from like the little discount food area of the Marshalls, which always makes me like a little bit sussy. But sussy makes me sussy, makes me suspicious. But it looked good. It came in like a little metallic tan. Tan? Tin. Made a couple servers could volunteer to help. That's so kind. Thank you. Fingers too big for phone keyboard and too stubborn for I see. Living alone hasn't helped. It was always easier to create with others around doing their own thing. You know what? And I miss when I had a whole bunch of roommates that had all gone to the same school that I had gone to. And one of my roommates had a sculpture studio set up in the basement, and another one of my roommates had a fiber studio set up in the foyer. There was like a little sunroom that had kind of been built into this house that we lived in, and another roommate was a girl that I had gone to high school with who was in my AP art class, and she was a great oil painter. Oh my god, she was great, and having her artwork up was always so nice, and that just felt, I will always be reminiscent and nostalgic for that period of time. I was living with my best friend. She had a room downstairs, but we opted to merge our bedrooms together into one, and that was so nice right before COVID hit. Gosh, I really missed that. A part of my heart is always going to live back in Kansas City just for that reason alone. It's really starting to come together. I don't know if I'm satisfied though with how these more metallic tones are turning out. I love that sound. See right back behind here. I was planning on drawing today basically until the sun goes down, and then we'll see what the lighting does. It's already 4:21. LOL 4:20. Um, but we shall see how the sunlight is looking since it sets pretty early here over in the PNW. I can't wait for summer, you guys. It's gonna be so nice. Can't wait to find some place where I can put a bathing suit on and go waddle around in the water somewhere. do feel like I need a third blue tone. These are the this piece so far, this sketch has been created using just these colors, so I feel like I need another tone of blue in here somewhere. This is Copenhagen blue. Let me see. Might be a little bit too pigmented for what I'm going for. I need kind of like another more muted blue. What is this one? Electric blue? Uh-oh. I don't like what the name implies. Oh, that's actually pretty much exactly what I'm looking for. Let's sharpen it and find out. It's like sticky here on the end. Gross. Oh, it's probably from rubber cement. Yeah, it's peeling off like rubber cement. Yikes. Oh, wow, thank you. Hey, Capture. Thank you for the bits. Wow, thank you so much. I'm not the best at expressing my gratitude, especially in front of, everybody on Twitch and stream and everything like that. Like, I'm not going to get up and do a whole little song and dance. I don't want to seem disingenuine in an overreaction, but please know that that is so validating and means so, 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 so much to me. And your guys' time and attention and support is so encouraging and makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing and going in the right direction. So I really do appreciate it. That is going to emotionally tide me over until the next time I stream. And so reinforcing, I think is the word that I'm looking for. Thank you. Thank you for the reinforcement and the belief in me. It's very, very kind. Let me know how you guys think this drawing is turning out. Some parts about it I really like, and then other parts are not quite hitting for me. But that's the point of doing the study before the actual piece, I suppose. This electric blue was the right call. It doesn't look like it would be the right color, but I think it was. I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate around the camera, but I want to make sure you guys have a good view, so I wasn't going to put it off to the side. And I know what I'm doing. I mean, I can draw around it, but it is a little awkward. But yeah, some things that I want to invest in are like a better camera stand. I've seen some other artists. I've been on Reddit. I've been looking around, seeing what's going on Reddit, and looking at other art streamers' setups. I've been inspired, but kind of need just a little bit of capital to invest in like a better, not a better quality per se. I just have like an old iPhone right here that I'm using on one of these like little dinky $20 ring light stands. But I've seen some things like some nice little contraptions where people have like rigged up almost like a dome, like two crossing plastic pieces, like some piece of piping or something that you could get from Home Depot crossing, and then LED strips on that, and then somehow they're able to mount a camera like right there in the very center. This is why I'm going to be wearing gloves for the final piece, by the way, is because, and don't look at my cuticles. Oh my god, please don't. But this right here is why you're going to want gloves or like another piece of paper to put underneath your hand while you're drawing, because a real good artist would draw, with their wrist up and their wrist suspended. I rest my hand against the piece. So I'm going to be wearing either gloves or having a piece of paper underneath my hand when I'm doing my final illustration on the artboard, so that I don't accidentally smear pigment around. And I don't even think I showed you guys that because I was holding it off over to the side. Let me see. Like right here. For the sardine can? That's so funny. Oh, you're funny. Well, if you feel comfortable, you'll have to tell me where you're viewing from so that I can get an idea of what it's like where you're at. But thank you. Thank you so much. A third of the sardine can. That's funny. I mean, again, I don't like doing any type of commentary that could be viewed as political or anything like that, but groceries are so expensive right now. I wanted blueberries the other day and they were like $10. And I was like, is that really worth, like, however much that would translate for me in work time? I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know. $10 for a thing of blueberries. Like, get out of here. And strawberries? Don't even get me started. As somebody who's been trying to eat better and kind of eat more whole foods, the pricing is super daunting, but that's neither here nor there. Just know that I appreciate it, and it will be put to good use. Not to get too personal, but I did give up drinking last year, and one of the best things that I've done for my health and for my pocketbook. But just know that all the bits and everything that you guys cheer me with and support me with is going right back into buying more art supplies and paying the internet bill because I wasn't uh I didn't have internet there for a little bit. I was just using the data off of my phone, and to getting a new mouse because my mouse is like so dinky. I'm just using this like old dinky retractable laptop mouse that was like in the how your parents have like an old technology bin at their house probably that's got like all the old TV cables and things like that, and it's like, why are you guys keeping this? I have like a tiny little, it's like half the size of my palm, little laptop mouse with like just two buttons and a scroll wheel kind of a thing. So I would love to get a new mouse for gaming. I would love to get a new desktop for gaming. Of course, art is taking a priority right now, trying to get back into being more disciplined, but it would be nice for when I do for when I am doing my Project Zomboid streams and stuff like that. If I could have a little bit of a nicer setup, would be nice, I think. So thank you. I think he needs his spots again. I think it's time, now that I've done a little bit more shading, I think it's time to go put his little spots on. Kind of starting to get the hang of fish texture, fish art. It's just so hard because you have to put in all the light and dark values before you start adding those scaly textures, and it's the scaliness that really does it. So I do have a silver pencil. You can see that this one has also basically never been used. And while I debated using this color, I don't think I really want to. I want to build up the metallic quality through darks and light tones, but maybe just for giggles, since this is the study, maybe we'll go. Oh no, that's horrible. I was gonna say maybe we'll throw it in there to see if it gives me what I want from it. Oh no, this is bad. Maybe as a base tone. Oh yeah, that is not doing it for me. That is not, and I knew it too. I knew that it was gonna be just shiny gray, not like an instantaneous metallic. Oh, it's horrendous. I need to stop. I need to put it down. It's really bad. Okay, we're gonna put that away. So if you're wondering why I don't just use the metallic silver to make him look more silvery, it's because that is not going to do it. That alone will not achieve the look we're going for. It is going to be through contrast that we will be able to create the metallic tone. But we have to do like all of the base coloring first before we go in and do any of the shiny scale parts. Go in with the side of this pencil again. In Warsaw, Poland. Greetings from Poland. Amazing. Wow. Well, thank you for hanging out. I wonder what the time zone difference is like. Over here, it's just about the time where people are getting off of work, I suppose. It is 4:34 here right now, which means I'm a little bit over the amount of time that I said I was going to stream today, which is nice. That's nice, actually. I like that. It means that the stream is going well and that I'm happy with the art piece. But I did want to have at least a little scheduled time online. I posted it on my Twitter um, when I was going to be streaming today. That's another habit that I really want to get into is creating a schedule and sticking to it. And if I don't have a predetermined schedule for the week, at least posting at a minimum several hours in advance before I get online so that it's not just kind of a random surprise. But as I'm getting more comfortable with streaming and seeing how much time I'm spending in every stream and figuring out what days of the work which days of the week work best for me, I want to create a schedule that I can stick to because I know that being consistent is really, really important. And it would be nice to have a schedule that you guys could rely on so you could know when to find me so that we can have a designated hangout time. The goal lately has been once a week, one stream a week, no matter what. And I want to start off with that kind of minimum, with that kind of like smaller interval, because I know that it's something I can stick to. And then as I am able to work this into my schedule more, I want to up it from there. So for now, we're doing once a week. It's been Wednesdays so far, but the streams that I had been doing for the past month for January had been a lot of very late night Project Zomboid streams. Project Zomboid was actually a game that Woodler and I have played together on a server with some of their friends, which was really nice because that game can be so lonely feeling when you're playing it just single player by yourself. But if you haven't played the game, or if you're not a fan, or if you're not aware of it, we'll probably stream it again at some point. I thought it would be nice. The ideal would be if Twitch streaming for me, and I'm just going to put that out into the universe, I suppose. If Twitch streaming for me were to get big enough, if I were to be consistent enough and build up enough of an audience, I would love to do art streams in the morning, like a 4 to 6 hour art stream, and then game streams in the evening, like another 4 to 6 hours of gaming. I would love that. That would be such a dream for me. So all your guys' time and attention and support and telling your friends and tuning back in next time, that's what we're gunning for. A full-time Twitch streaming career for me looks like art time when the day is up, art time in the daytime, game time in the nighttime. Artist by day, gamer by night. That could be me. Here's hoping. I have this condition called Raynaud's, and it basically just means that I have very poor circulation in my fingers and toes, and it makes being outside in the cold weather very, very difficult. Even just being in an air-conditioned room is extremely difficult for me. It hurts when the blood vessels constrict in my hands, and I haven't had a Raynaud attack yet on camera today because I'm keeping it very warm in my apartment, which means that it's also very costly to be warming my entire apartment up from the 30-degree weather that it is outside. Well, below 30 degrees now, and I'm sure it's much colder in Poland, but just not well adapted to it. Anyway, so I would love to be indoors more. I would love to be Twitch streaming more. I would love love to make creating art and Twitch streaming my full-time profession. So if you guys have any friends that you think would like the Cindy Beans Variety Show, you be sure to send them my way, okay? Because the more, the merrier. 1:35 a.m. Goodness, you're up late. We'll let you know when the next server's up for Zomboid. Oh my god, that'd be so nice. I didn't know if you guys were still doing that. A couple times. Yeah, you might like it. Worker at the liquor store I frequented. Love Project Zomboid. Oh, well, that's so cool. I'm so glad there are people that know about the game. My brother was the one who had introduced it to me. I'm pretty sure that sounds right, or maybe it was Woodler even. I'm pretty sure it was my younger brother who I love and who I'm still trying to figure out how to stream him and I playing. The thing is that there's a new build on Project Zomboid, and build 42 is not multiplayer compatible. And we were thinking about doing like a type of remote split screen, but I don't know if my computer can handle it, honestly. I'm just gaming on like a 10-year-old laptop, and it can barely handle an art stream even. I think it's barely handling a Project Zomboid stream, to be honest. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go, like I said. It looks so much more lifeless now that I've gone in with all these super white whites. So let's bust out some of the darker tones and we'll rev the contrast back into the other direction. I'm gonna take this brown colored pencil and go across the top of the fishy here. I just think they're so beautiful too. If you've ever seen a sardine in person, which it sounds like you guys have, I just think that they're so underrated in terms of their beauty, the elegance of their anatomy, their importance to the food chain. That I think it would be nice to kind of pay tribute to all the little fishies in the ocean by trying to capture what I see in their beauty. At least that's how I've been thinking about it lately, as I've been imagining this series of fishies. It's gonna be so funny when at some point in time I go, all right, well this sketch is done. Let's do the real piece now, and people go, wait, what? 24/7 liquor stores, unheard of. Never close, always open. If only other things in life were that reliable. You're not even joking. Not even joking, not even a little bit. Why does it look funny here? Did my camera angle get thrown off? Can you guys see me okay when I'm over here? Not even joking, not even a little bit, because liquor stores here, first of all, close. I think in Texas, liquor stores are even closed on Sundays, or maybe that was Kansas City. I can't remember. Someplace that I lived in, the liquor stores were closed on Sundays. And, gosh, well, now I'm thinking like there was a time too when Walmarts used to be 24/7, and sometimes I would be having really bad insomnia at around like 3 a.m. Couldn't sleep, or when we were just little high schoolers and we used to go hang out at the Walmart at around 3 in the morning. Those were good times too, because there was nothing else to do in small towns except for go hang out at the Walmart late at night. I miss when Walmarts were 24/7. Gosh, that was so nice. All right, I'm just taking this indigo blue here across the top of his back. Kind of deepen this color, darken it. Yeah, I think I like how this is turning out. He's gonna need his spots back too. It's one of my favorite parts about sardines is their spots along the back. Oh yeah, that's blending out quite nicely, I think. 24-hour weed drive-through on your block. The stores here, not that I smoke, I don't smoke. But the cannabis stores here close at like 11. Be right back. Gonna go hunt for some food real quick. And by that I mean scout the fridge for some for something edible. Oh, I thought you were about to say for some edibles. Is cannabis legal in Poland? That would be what I would be curious to know. I don't know what other countries' stance is on marijuana. Wow, the weed drive-throughs are really 24 hours in Missouri? That's crazy. When did that happen? It must have been right after I left, because it was definitely still very illegal when I lived there. It's funny how in the states, the every single state can have a different stance against what's federal federally legalized even. Here in the states, it's illegal federally, and then every state has its own legislation for or against it. Currently, that's how it goes. Kind of interesting, but I don't know enough about lawmaking to be able to explain it further. I don't even understand how they're allowed to have it like that. Ugh, I kind of feel like the camera is bouncing around a little bit. I'm sorry. Let me see. Maybe I can bounce it. Maybe I can push it back just a little bit so it's not rubbing against the table. Going in with this slate gray color as my main blending agent right now to kind of push these colors to that oil paint quality that I like. Really happy that I went ahead with the artichoke green in there at some point because I really like the way that that turned out. Kind of using little circular overlapping oval motions is I think what I would say or how I would describe this. I can't wait to be drawing on the artboard too because I think it's gonna make the blending look so much nicer. The more expensive papers, not even necessarily the more expensive, but the thicker papers hold onto pigment a lot better, I think. And so it'll be nice to be able to layer up a little bit more. It's develop some more of those gourmet colors, so to speak. Let's put his spots back in. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but it's the paper itself is having kind of like an oversaturation issues, I think what I would call it. It is getting to the point where the page itself is not really allowing me to apply much more pigment, which means I'm kind of just starting to smear it around. which is good to know. If you don't have all your layers of color in place before you start pushing down a little bit harder, you start to just kind of push it instead of blending it. You can see it's not really blending as well as it was before. Which when we get to the different paper is less of an issue. It can kind of just hold more pigment. I wish I knew the science there. I wish I knew the science behind that, but that's how it goes. Right now I'm kind of pushing it maybe like 80% as hard as I can and just having a hard time getting it to layer on there, which means the study is getting close to finished. What color do I need for the tail? Maybe the slate? The slate gray is really carrying the team right now. Whoops. Got some shavings everywhere. We'll get some more highlights in here, and then I think we might be done for our study. Yeah, the sun is going down, so I don't think I'm going to be able to draw for too much longer. The lighting is just not the same, which is a bummer. I'm going to have to get started earlier next time. Oh, I missed some stuff. Let me see. Oh, unfortunately is not. Last say that you traveled through. Oh no. Wow, really? That much jail time for an ounce to a quarter? Hey, yeah, look at you. That's funny. Oh, you guys had snow there in Kansas City too? I actually think you guys probably had more snow than we've had recently. Not to say that we haven't had snow, and it's just sticking to the ground and freezing, and it's actually kind of really dangerous. But when it comes to working outdoors in the snow or in the cold weather, I know how difficult that can be. So kudos to you. I hope the horses are doing well. One of those things that I want to do in this lifetime is be around riding horses again. I think that would be amazing. I've always been fascinated by horses. Maybe it's kind of easy to tell that I'm a little bit of a horse girl, but I just think they're neat. I know everybody has their own opinion on them. Not everybody thinks they're the nicest. Some people think that horse people are weird, but I think horses are beautiful animals. Sorry if I'm getting a little quiet on you. You can maybe tell that I'm starting to focus a little bit more as we are putting in the finishing details on our study here. I don't want to be doing the study next time I come on. I want to be doing just the official piece. Official? Ha! Also, I'm kind of racing against Mother Nature here as the time goes by and the sun goes down. But I'm liking where this is going. I hope you guys have been having fun hanging out, chatting with me. God damn, that fish looks like that there fish will flop off the page. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's really kind. It is I think my best decision was the use of the artichoke green and the mineral orange. The lighting is not ideal anymore, so I think I'm gonna have to call it soon. We'll maybe give it another few minutes or so. I'll just keep putting some finishing touches up on here. Definitely learned a lot from this study. Definitely some different choices that I would make for the official piece. But I do like how it turned out for a study. I think it's pretty passing. I give myself a passing grade on this one. Well, I think I'm going to call it there. I think that's just about all the pigment that the page can hold. For our purposes, I think I've learned enough to take me to the next piece and or to the big piece because this is just a study. This is just a sketch, believe it or not. The sun has gone down, and this was a good introduction for me back into art making live with people watching and asking questions and everything, because that can always be a little bit daunting. What if the piece doesn't turn out? What if people don't like it? Those kind of questions kind of invade the brain and keep you from doing such things. But I think for all intents and purposes, I think it turned out all right. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate it. What were you doing up so late? Me watch women draw fish. You guys are funny. You guys are so funny. I'm so glad you guys were able to join me tonight. I hope you guys can join me up next. Yeah, I hope you guys can join me next time. I um I will post the next time that I am getting onto stream. I'll post it on Twitter, and we can hang out again then. Let me see. Let me put this here. You guys can find my art on Instagram. You can find more of my face on TikTok. You guys can find my thoughts on Twitter and Facebook, I believe, though I don't really use that one as much. And again, thank you so much for hanging out. It really does mean just the whole wide world to me. I'm seeing like other little things that I want to fix here as I'm wrapping up. Where else can you guys find me? Mainly, I've been on Twitch lately. Twitch, I haven't really been so loyal to TikTok, but Twitch has been my main focus for the time being. It's just where I love to be. I love to be hanging out on here and talking with you guys as I'm doing my thing, whatever that might be. I think his fin got a little too long on top. That's all right. Because it was just a study. Thank you for the bits. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the wonderful conversation. You guys are the best. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, but I am excited to draw again here soon and use some new techniques. Let me stash all the colors that I used for this one in the same place so that I have them all in one spot. And I don't really have too much of an outro. Not too sure. I always feel like I draw out the goodbyes for too long. But if you liked spending time with me here, oh my gosh, I had the X-Acto knife uncapped, just loose on my phone. That was an accident waiting to happen. If you liked hanging out with me on here, feel free to follow me on my other socials. And what else is there to say? Just some goodbyes, I suppose. The sun has gone down and the moon has come up. That is a great cake song. I love that one, The Distance. Yeah, I guess we're gonna call it here. So thank you again. I hope you guys have a great night. I'm planning to do a lot of art making this month so that I can apply so that I can enter this art contest in March, in early March. So if you were here for the Project Zomboid, again, it's the variety show, so I guess you never really know what you're gonna get with me. I do really appreciate you guys like a lot, a lot, a lot. And I know I feel like I'm saying and so much. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Not too sure what else to say. It's been fun. It's been real. You guys are amazing. You guys are fantastic. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. All right, I will see you. Capture, thank you again for the follow and the conversation. I hope it's not too late for you this evening. What is today? Wednesday? Yeah. All right, you guys, keep it real. Take care of yourselves. Please, please, please take care of yourselves. And I will see you next time. Bye. Bye. See you.